And if you want to do it, you do all that work for one property or two properties, and it gets paid off, you've wasted a whole month.
Right.
So we're doing it for everybody, and they can pick and choose it. And what's interesting is a lot of times they'll say, "Uh-oh, that one got pulled. Okay, how about this one? We've already got the research done," you know?
Yeah.
So that's why it's growing, and we're not advertising about it because uh, I don't want to get so many people that it becomes a multi-level thing or something, or that feeling about it.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Erika, and today I'm joined by someone that I've been looking forward to chat with, Arnie Abramson. He's been making serious moves in the residential foreclosure space with his company, TX Tax Sales Resource Group, LLC. Arnie, I'm glad to have you here.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here.
I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching foreclosure investing. So let's dive on in. For our listeners who may not be familiar with your world, can you share your story with us? How did you find yourself focusing on foreclosures?
Well, that's a great question. I the reality is this. I got a call from my wife one day, and she said, we've been thinking about real estate, and there's a real estate meetup tonight. Why don't we go? I said, okay. And we went, and there was a speaker there, and he was talking about all these different kinds of ways to invest in real estate. And I was kind of nodding off in the back, and she gave me an elbow and to wake up and said, hey, pay attention. This is interesting. This guy's talking about tax sales, tax foreclosure sales, and pay attention. And at the end of this guy speaking, he raised his hand. He said, who here has done a tax sale in Texas? Because this was in Texas. And 2 or 3 people raised their hand. And that's when she woke me up again with her elbow and said, hey, that guy over there, when the meeting was over, he raised his hand. Let's go talk to him. And it was a guy who had just moved to town, to Dallas, where we were. And he had done about 14 of these before. He lived in San Antonio. And we talked to him a little bit. And he had moved to Dallas because of a job. His full-time job transferred him here. And he knew what to do for the tax sales, but he didn't have the time to do it. So we had the time and didn't know what to do. So it was a pretty good fit. So we joined with him. And for a couple of years, we learned about it from him, and we joint ventured and bought about 10 or 12 properties. And then we wanted to keep growing, and he didn't. So we split up what we had and Pat, my wife and I kept going.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And what we did initially we had done those tax sales, but then we said, what other kind of foreclosures are there? And so we went to HUD, housing, the HUD. And for the first time, HUD was going to have an auction. And they gave us about 3 weeks notice, and we got the list of the auction properties, all 200 of them. And we went and looked at every one of them. Hey, we were eager and ready to go full time. And then the auction came about, and there were so many people at the hotel where they were having it. We barely got in time to bid on one property, and we got it. There were hundreds of people there. So we thought, well, that's nice. And then we found out about 2 weeks later, they're going to do another auction from HUD. It was so successful. Well, this time, same thing happened. And we bought 4 properties. And then the next time they had an auction, my wife made a terrible mistake. She let me go without her. And I bought 10 properties. Now, the way you could do it, you could buy the properties, and then you had 30 days to come up with the money. So, it's not like you had to have the cash right there. So that really launched us into doing it. And, we had to get all the pieces together. And then we tried some other. We went to the VA, the Veterans Administration. They had a program. And we loved their program because what they did was if you put down 10%, they had the financing for the rest of it. So that was wonderful. So over the next few years, we bought for us and our investors that we were building, because my wife and I both had been financial planners. So we had clients that we were doing investments for. And so we went to the VA and we found out that, well, over the next 3 or 4 years, we bought 72 properties from the VA. And so that's what happened. At some point, we looked around, and as I think I told you earlier, there I was in an office with 10 employees. We were managing 250 properties, and this is not what we wanted. We didn't want to do that. I mean, it was great, and we made some money, and all our investors were happy. So we started to downsize, and finally get to where I wanted to be. And one of the things I really wanted to do was teach people about the tax sales, because those are the foreclosure auctions where people got behind on paying their property taxes, and the county foreclosed, and they would have an auction. And that was really so unique. And we found out it was a lot of work. And I could go through it with you. Like I was just doing that earlier in case you asked me. I have like 14 steps we have to go through. But it was so unique because we didn't have a lot of competition. There were a lot of, there were people who in Dallas were great. And anyway, we started going to Dallas and Fort Worth to their auctions every month. And we built up a lot of stuff. And then at some point, we noticed that some of the big players were coming in, the hedge funds, and they were creating more competition. The prices were higher. The deals weren't quite as good. And one actually contacted us, and we did some stuff with them for a year, and I could see the writing on the wall.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So we took our small group together and said, okay, we're now going to no longer go to the big cities. We're going to the smaller communities because that's where the competition is less.
Yeah.
And that when competition is less, prices are better. So that's a long answer to a short question.
But
Apologies.
it's very insightful, Arnie. When for our listeners today who are investors and they haven't dealt with purchasing a foreclosure before or the auction system, what do you want them to know?
What do I what?
What do you want them to know?
Whatever they need. But here's what they need to know up front. They need to know the reason there's less competition is it's a very complicated and laborious journey. Just to give you a quick overview, all the auctions are the same day. One day, it's usually the first Tuesday of the month. Unless it's the July 4th or New Year's Day, then it'll be the next day. Those are the two exceptions. And that's a pop quiz test question. So if you're watching Jeopardy, it'll come up one day. So anyway, I lost my thought now. Where was I going? So what was the question again? I'm sorry. I really did.
I was saying, what do you want investors to
Oh,
know who are
yeah.
unfamiliar with this
Well, they
experience in
need
the
to know
foreclosure space?
that, and as far as I know, there are a lot of people online that are saying they will teach you about foreclosures. They will teach you about tax sale foreclosures. They'll teach you about trustee sale foreclosures, which are the mortgage foreclosures. They'll do all that. And then you have to go out and do the work after you paid them a ton of money just to learn it. And then you got to go out and do it. And there are some interesting challenges. For example, all of those sales at the same time. Are you going to do all you can to go to one and you get there and you find out they paid it off at the last minute and there's nothing to do and you wasted the whole time? Or what if there are 4 different counties that have properties you want? How are you going to do that? So there was a vacuum created. And so what we started out to do was to teach people about tax sales in Texas, because almost all of the gurus online are talking about tax lien sales, not tax deed sales. And there's a difference. Some states are tax lien states, some are tax deed states. Without going into a lot of detail, I can later if you wish. The difference is between an investor buying a bond or buying a stock. One is debt, one is equity. A tax lien sale, you're buying the lien against the property. You're not buying the property. Tax deed sale, you're buying the property. And that's what Texas is, the tax deed sale. So you're buying the property if you buy at the auction. So even that distinction. Now, and I don't know anyone who is teaching about tax sales in Texas. A lot of gurus will talk about tax deeds. In fact, there's an interesting story. Several years ago, one of my members called me and said, hey, there's a guy in town, a guy from Nevada someplace, who's having a 3-day seminar in Dallas about tax sales. And I've got a I can bring a companion. Would you like to come? I said, of course.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So I went with her, and the first day, all this guy did was talk about how great they were. And I'm thinking, I will not be here tomorrow. And right before he broke up, he said, now tomorrow I'm going to get into how to really do it in Texas. I said, all right, I guess I got to come back. So I came back the next day, and he said, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you about Texas. And without going into detail, he made some statement, a premise, and I stood up and I said, I'm sorry, you are wrong. Here's what the law is in Texas. And he handled it well. He said, that's why we like to have local people here. And he went on to something else. So I was about to leave when they had a break, and he said, before you leave, come over here. He said, can we meet later? I want to talk to you. And I said, okay, here's my office. Give me a call. And he did. And he said, you know, you seem to know a lot about this, and that's great. And what can we do? He said, I want to talk more with you. I said, okay. So he called me a couple of weeks later. And he said, I would like you to buy a property for me in Texas. I said, okay. And he gave me all the data. And then about 2 days before the sale, he called and he said, I'm coming in. I want to be there with you. And he did. And he came in, and we bought a property, and he, so that's, I forgot that question, but it's a long answer, but that's the point is that out of state people, they don't know about how it really works. And the people pretty much in Texas that are doing it, they get big crowds because they go there trying to learn because no one else is teaching it.
Right.
So, and we've now developed what I call our Foreclosure Academy, Texas Foreclosure, and we've got classes, and we're now, and they're on PowerPoint. So, we can do that. And we originally started off to make that available, and they would pay for it and all that. And then we developed a membership program, and now that's who our classes are only for, our members. Because why do we want to educate our competition? Now, if anyone calls me, if they ask a direct question, I'm happy to give it to them. So tell your listeners there, I'll be happy to answer any questions, but there are no short answers in this business. That's the problem. I can give you a short answer, but there are no real answers because everything is so complicated and convoluted. Look, you've got 254 counties, and every county is doing it differently.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are the same rules, but they differently. So,
yeah. For a lot of people, the process can feel intimidating, especially if they're new to it. So can you walk us through, like, what would you say are 2 or 3 non-negotiables that you look for before you even decide to bid?
well, I have 13 of them. Would you like to hear them?
Yeah.
Well, number one, you have to find out when the auction is. And which counties are having the auction. Where do you go to do that? There's no one place. That's what we do. Our sale was yesterday. Today, we're already starting to check with the counties for next month. So which counties are going to have a sale? And of those counties having a sale, some of them are online and some are not. Now, the online counties, that means the competition is the world. Where we're going, the smaller counties, the competition may be one or two people or none sometimes in the smaller one. Now, we also will go where our investors want. We bought a couple properties yesterday in San Antonio, and we rarely go there in the bigger cities. But, if someone wants it and they can't go, we'll go. It charges them, we'll charge them for it. So which ones are online? Where are they? And then, okay, now that we've got a list of all the counties that we have picked, a list of all the counties that have announced it's going to be online, and we have to check it every day. Some of them don't even come online until 2 days before the sale, which is great, of course. But every day we have to check it and find out which counties are going to have a sale. Then we have to select which ones we want to go to, or which ones are our priority or our members want to go to. I'm not going to go to El Paso, because all of them, that's like another country way out there. Have in the past, and we will if there's a big demand for it. But right now, we're in Dallas, and El Paso is, 6,000 miles away almost, or whatever. But so you have to decide which counties you want to look at, and if they come up with early in the month, we come up with one property on their sale, probably not going to go there, because the odds are 50-50 that they'll pay it off before the thing. Whereas if you go to a property, to a county that has 30 different properties, that's worth starting to look at them and to research them. And that's what we'll do. We'll research them. And that's a complicated process, because first thing you get before you want to spend a lot of time researching is, let's look at the price. What's the opening bid and what's the value? And that's something we've learned over the years, that if the opening bid is $2,000 and the value of the house is $300,000, that looks great. But there's 99 out of 100 times that property will not go on the sale. They're not going to lose a $300,000 property for $1,000 or whatever it is, or $2,000. So you don't get excited about it. But there are exceptions. What if it was someone who died and didn't go through probate, and it's a daughter or a niece or somebody who's living there? You can't. They're not the owner. They're not the real owner. So they can take the chance and pay it off. But one day somebody's going to come along, and it's. I could go on and on. I don't know about that. So that's one of the things is we have to research. And then when we pick out the ones that look suitable, maybe a $300,000 house, and the opening bid's going to be $100,000, or $50,000 or $60,000, then that's worth looking at. And then we have to do the real search, the looking at it. We need to. We'll send one of our people out to take pictures of it. We'll have a report form for them to fill out, a flyer to leave on the door if no one's home. If they are home, we'd give them, here's what we want to know. Maybe we could help you. We love doing that, where we can help someone. They want you to loan them money. And by the way, they're getting all kinds of, there are legal lien lenders out there that are sending postcards. Oh, their favorite deal is this: we'll loan you the money, no payment for 12 months. Sounds great. Until we met a lady that owed $9,000, and she thought that was great. And 12 months later, they sent her a bill for $21,000. because we gave her the 9 and all the new ones that came on and all their fees and so we have to warn them about that. And we can help them in a lot of ways. You want an example? I had a
Yeah.
a single mom, had 3 kids, and her house was worth about $150,000, which was a good size house several years ago when this happened. And she only owed, I think, $12,000, and she couldn't come up with it. So she's about to lose her house at the auction. So we went and talked to her and looked at the house and finally came up with a suggestion. We said, how about this? We'll buy the house from you before the sale, and we'll pay out of what we give you. We'll pay the taxes, and you can name the price what we buy it for. She said, what? I said, hey, we're not going to give you $100,000 for a house that you owe $12,000 on. We'll agree on a price, but here's what you need to know: whatever price we agree on, that means we're going to own it. So then what we will do, we'll rent it back to you for 6 months. She said, how much rent? I said, what's comfortable for you? She said, $400 a month. I said, okay, $400 a month for 12 months. And then we will sell it back to you for what we paid for it, plus 25%. And we will finance it for you. She said, you'd do all that? Yeah, we'll do that. Well, what would my cost be? Well, we figured it out. It wasn't much more than the 400, or 5 or whatever it was. Well, we're financing it for her now, and it have been for 7 or 8 years, and we get a thank you every Christmas. And we love doing that because everybody wins. My investor got the 25% profit. He got the 6 months of rent, and the let's see, what else did he? Oh, he got the there's something else I forgot. But it's
Yeah, it's a win-win-win situation.
it's exactly right. That's exactly what we like, and we try to do it. And that 25%, the reason we came up with that is in Texas, if they lose their house at a tax sale auction, they can buy it back. They call it a redemption. They can redeem it for what they lost it for, plus 25%. And so we said, this way, if it sells at the auction for $50,000, you're going to have to pay back $50,000 plus 25%. And then in this case, by the way, I said 12,000. We'll give you 20. I want you to have some money in your pocket so that you don't have to scrimp every month. That'll help you do that. That's what you like. And she said, oh, that's great. Well, 25% on 20,000 is a lot better than on 50,000 or 100,000. And plus, she didn't have to come up with the cash. So anyway, those are the kind of deals we love because everybody wins, as you said.
Yeah, that's a really great story. I mean, I feel like when people hear about foreclosures, they usually think of the negative and that it's only going to be a negative situation. But it's cool that you can turn it around and make it a win for everybody.
That's what we love to do. We feel good about it that way too, and that's why our business has grown, because the investors see that, just what you said, and they want to be a part of it, and that's great. And now that we're covering so many different counties, that's why we want investors and would-be investors, because we can train them. We need more people to go. We do. I remember I said we have they become members, and there's a fee structure we have for that, of course. But the fee structure is interesting because some people can pay it all up front. The others, we train them and we give them credit to earn it, and then they start getting cash. So we want it to be accessible to a lot of people. Anyway, I was going through all what we do, and that was the research, and then we have to go to visit the properties and see, and then we have to check them every day. because some people pay them off.
Mhm.
And we don't want to go through all the work if they're paying them off, and we don't want to send people there if nobody's going to bid, and then nobody has any properties there to sell. Then we have to select which auctions are we going to and who's going where, and um, and the money situation. How do you pay it off and all that? And we've got systems for all that.
Mhm.
And then you have to wait for the deeds to come to you. Anyway, that's the overview. It's very complicated, all this stuff, and that's why there's less competition for it. It's a lot of work, and if you want to do it, think about it. If you do all that work for one property or two properties, and it gets paid off, you've wasted a whole month.
Right.
So we're doing it for everybody, and they can pick and choose it. And what's interesting is a lot of times they'll say, "Uh-oh, that one got pulled. Okay, how about this one? We've already got the research done."
Yeah.
So that's why it's growing, and we're not advertising about it because uh, I don't want to get so many people that it becomes a multi-level thing or something, or that feeling about it, or we want it to be on a one-on-one basis. It's not just me. We now have a staff of 5 or 6 of us who were all investors with us and have grown up and wanted to come in, and so it's making it more efficient.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, if someone is in Texas or an investor who wants to get in the Texas market, Arnie, if they want to reach out, connect, maybe they want help with bidding, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Probably at my cell phone number. You ready? We have a website also, but the TX tax sales, you know, TX tax sales will usually get you to our website. But we've been so busy, it's kind of dated a little bit. So let me just call my cell phone. I will call you back. If I don't answer, that means I'm on with somebody else, and I will call you back. Just leave me a voicemail. I will get back to you. Anytime you can call after 8 a.m. or up to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. Okay? And you ready? I'll give you the number. It's 214-869-7188. Now, also, as I say, we built the staff, and so now I put one of our investors that's been with us a long time just retired from his job and 2 or 3 years ago, and so he says, "Hey, I want to be full time," and he is now the president. I'm the chairman, the CEO, but he is now the president. His name is Roy. Let me give you his number. Also, if he might. I don't know if he's easier or harder to reach than me, but it's also 214 and then 505-9718. We have recently also put in a number for the whole organization. If someone wants to call and that number is 972-449-0988. And, sometimes it's easier to do that, leave a message, and somebody will call them back because some days the phone doesn't stop ringing, they won't get through. So, and we're happy to have calls. And what else?
Well, you gave 3 different phone numbers, so I think people have plenty of ways to reach you, Arnie. Again, this was great. We need more people in the foreclosure space who are doing things the way you are, creating those win-win-win situations.
Oh, I think so too. And by the way, uh, you've asked some great questions and all, and I love questions. Okay, don't hesitate to call. I do love questions, but I do warn you, there are no short answers, as you could tell.
Yes, as we've learned today, this is a complicated process. So it's good to have experts like you that can help navigate these deals and do the bidding there.
Well, thank you. Uh, what we like to say to really sum up everything is that You have three choices with us. We can teach you everything you need to know, period. We can teach you everything you need to know and do just the things that you don't want to do yourself. We can do those for you. Or you can join us and do whatever you want and get paid for stuff that you're doing. You just do it, the things you're doing for yourself, you can also do at the same places for others and get paid for it.
Yeah. The
And God,
flexibility there is really,
I
really
got to
cool.
tell you, every month we have some people that make in the thousands on that one day of the tax sales. I've I've had, I think the record is 11,000 somebody made once, and we've had a 9,000. And now you'll get the worst. If you don't get anything, you'll still get something because we're going to give you gas mileage and stuff like
Mhm.
that in minimal, but it's not all that way. I don't want to give that impression. It's based on what properties we're able to buy. And I will say this, that this month, yesterday's auction, for the first time, we won at least one bid in 75% of the counties we attended. That's the highest I've ever seen.
Mm.
Now sometimes it was one property, sometimes it was 7 or 10. Now I talked pretty much about the tax sales very briefly. The trustee sales are they're the same time, but there's a lot of difference. If we're
Mhm.
running out of time, we can do another deal on this. But briefly, they need to know this. The difference, you don't have all the strings attached with the trustee sales, the mortgage foreclosures, as you do with the tax sales. And one of the reasons is the motivation. The tax sale people, they want investors to buy the properties because once they buy the properties, they'll pay the taxes. They need the revenue. Not so with the trustee sales. Those are the mortgage companies. If they loan somebody $80,000 5 years ago to buy a $100,000 house, and they're going to foreclose on it, they don't want to have an auction. The house is worth $300,000 today, and they're in it for $80,000. They don't want to sell it, for a bid at an auction. But by law, they have to hold an auction. Well, it's funny. They make it very difficult to find out when and where. Not where, we know where, but when. And it's not like at the tax sale, we know it's at 10 o'clock. The trustee sale, sometime between 11 and 4. And you got to wait there all day, and sometimes they don't even show up because they're going to make it very difficult to buy. They don't want to, but they have to, and they can't claim it until they hold an auction and nobody buys.
Mhm.
So it's a different motivation, and we're doing both. And we're doing both now because the prices of real estate, of houses, are so high. Everybody's got to have a mortgage.
Yeah.
And the mortgage foreclosures can happen right away. Whereas with the tax sales, they got to jump through hoops. They got to notify people, give them 90
Mhm.
days to respond, go through all this. So they're alike. They're like, I tell people they're like apples and oranges. They're both fruit, but they're different. And these
Right,
are both
right.
foreclosures, but they're different,
Well, it's
So,
it's so good that you know how to navigate both of those. Thanks again for being on the show, Arnie. This has been great.
okay, thank you. And I'm sorry I just kept going on and on, but when I,
We love your passion. That's what we need, especially when it's something as complicated as this. For our listeners today, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to the Real Estate Pros podcast. We've got more conversations lined up with experts like Arnie, who are out there building fantastic real estate businesses. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.